Hi, if you've been here before, welcome back. If you're new to my space, my name is Hedy Shaw. I am a body worker and a mindfulness teacher, and I support humans to break free from the construct of today's society to create their unconditioned lives so they can turn setbacks into strength, experience greater vitality, creativity, and trust in their bodies. And I do that through the magics of mindfulness, postural alignment, and functional strength training. Do you want to know a secret to fixing your posture in 1 year? I know it's not 30 days, it's 1 year. Through an unconventional approach that you may have never heard before. Stick around for this transformational journey that I've been on with my posture and how that transformed my life and the way I show up in my work and in my world. Restoring my posture was the greatest gift I've given myself back in 2021. I spent a year focusing on restoring my posture. This experience not only impacted me personally, but also transformed the way I work with clients and how this work and restoring your posture now is the foundation of the work that I do when it comes to supporting people building unshakable strength. It all began after my car accident in 2018 when I had concussion and insane level of discomfort in my body. Tension in the neck, in the shoulders, in my right foot. A lot of stuff were happening on the right side of my body. At the time, I was already deep in my work as a personal trainer, and at the time I worked with teams of physiotherapists designing their active rehab programs through movement. I already thought I knew plenty about the active rehab journey that people go on. But little did I know that what was about to come would transform and challenge everything I thought I knew about active rehab and injuries. As someone who had identified as an athlete my entire life, and I always lived an active life and took pleasure and enjoyment in challenging my body in different shapes and forms, I found myself losing my abilities. Every exercise I tried would result in agonizing pain, especially in my back, in my neck, and occasionally pressure in my right eye. This pain was very different than my normal injuries of like pulling my hamstring or having the lower back tension. It was constant, it was nerve-wracking, and no matter what I did, it would get worse. It went so far that I developed a paralyzing fear of movement because every time I did anything, whether it was a calisthenics exercise or a yoga exercise or a stretching exercise or a strength training exercise, I would be in pain. And it was a challenging period, not only what I was going through, but also like doing this work for a living, right? Like helping clients lift weights and being stronger while on the inside I was crumbling and that nothing was working out. I stuck with the conventional processes that I knew at the time, like chiropractic appointments, physiotherapy appointment, kinesiology appointment, a couple of times a week, and I kept showing up hoping that it's going to change. But I just felt that I kept drifting away from who I was to an extent that I almost didn't remember how I did a lot of stuff, because almost as if I was forgetting. It was such a weird experience. Still, I don't have words to express what I was truly experiencing, but what I knew was I wasn't myself anymore. I finally got a late diagnosis for minor concussion. Now I know there is no such a thing as minor or major. Concussion will affect people differently. And when I found out, I already knew a person. At the time I lived back in Vancouver, so I knew a person who would support people and rehab people with concussion through movement, through eye training and all that stuff. So obviously I booked an appointment, and for the first time I felt heard, I felt understood, I felt seen. Unlike the conventional medical system that made me feel less than, made me feel like I was making up stories. And they really wanted me to get on antidepressant. And that was when I was like, no, I won't do that, because I know if I numb myself now, I have to live with that for the rest of my life. And I had friends that went through the same thing, and I didn't want to do that to myself. Like any other injuries, I always say get it moving as quickly as you can. Brain is the same thing. The more we can get the brain working in a way that is constructive, the better it's going to be. After I started the neurorehabilitation work, that was a wake-up call that probably with what I'm experiencing, the conventional methods of rehab wouldn't work for me. And I was lucky enough to be guided, and I now thinking back, it was divinely guided that I found people who were providing services that was focused on nervous system regulation. I began exploring treatments like craniosacral therapy, cranial osteopathy, tonal chiropractic, heart resonance therapy, which later I got certified in to be able to provide that as one of the services in my work. I didn't do all these treatments all at once. They were in different periods over time. But all of these treatments really helped me out. For the first time, feel like I could see the colors vividly. I was being more of myself. I could find gratitude. For the first time, I could actually sit in meditation in a very long time. I was meditating before this accident, but I lost that ability to actually sit down and meditate. But one thing remained consistent. Every time I exercised, I had flare-ups. At a time, I had a pushing through mentality. I thought, okay, I need to be doing more so I can fix myself. The more I pushed, the more my body showed me that she didn't like it. I realized I needed to create a massive shift in the way I was working out, in the way I was moving my body. I began studying full range conditioning and started taking Kinstretch classes. For those of you who don't know what they are a mobility specialty classes and certificates that you can deepen your understanding of your joint health and your neuromuscular abilities, which is a really fascinating field. And I started doing them religiously. And I kept showing up to the work, I kept showing up to the classes, but still I experienced the same thing, maybe a little bit less, but not a massive difference. I was like, okay, maybe I just need to do more of these. But along the way, I kept doing my research, I kept looking out. And like I said, now looking back, I was divinely guided to find the right solutions. And that was when I came across Ian Marco's training system, which later I went through his coaching program and got certified in his Mobility Coach Plus at a time, and now it changed name, I think, into Personal Training Academy. Through his teaching, I began understanding the relationship between posture, body alignment, and movement, and how that impacted my pain level. My posture was so twisted and out of alignment after the car accident that my jaw was shifting to one side and my teeth shortened as a result of that. And I still have those shorter teeth showing, but my jaw movement has significantly improved. This was when everything clicked. For the first time, I felt like I found gold that could potentially resolve all that I was experiencing. And that was my first exposure to understand the relationship of diaphragm and your pelvic floor and how your core stabilizes yourself in the space and its relationship to the quality of your breath. I've never heard such a thing. We always heard that breathing is important, but how can we make it work for us? How can we make it to become an asset for the way we show up? And that was when I went from belly breathing to learning how to breathe through my diaphragm. For the first time, I began using my core efficiently. And for the first time, I began feeling my pelvis moving freely in the space without that lagging feeling in my right foot. After only a couple of weeks of doing this deeper work and restoring my core, improving my breathing biomechanics, I began waking up in the morning with no neck pain. I began having sessions that I moved with no tension in my back. I was blown away. I got invested in this. I did this work every single day for an entire year because I could see the magic at the end. I could see my body was responding so beautifully, and I could see the glow in my eyes being back because of my ability to move again, and also feeling so different in the way I move in the space. Other surprising and unexpected benefits of this work has been I felt a lot more connected to the divine energy. My spiritual practices has grown in a very unique way, and I felt a lot more creative, a lot more connected to the muse that I felt like I lost connection to, or maybe I just never had that connection, that deep of a connection before. Now my work with clients is to get them to sustainably build the strength. And sustainable strength is not necessarily happening just by doing a workout and trying to increase your load every single day. Sustainable strength only happens when the understanding of nervous system and the posture are the foundation of what the strength is being built upon. We can't build a house on a shaky foundation. Neither of us want to live in that house, right? It's ungrounded, it's unsafe. And when we create that safety in the body, we begin slowly but consistently growing our strength. And not only we see muscles, but we see how the way we move changes, how much more effortless we move in the space. I am 36 now, and probably I am more connected and more mobile than I ever been in my life. Not mobile in a stretchy way. Oftentimes when we think about mobile, we think about the super flexible individuals. But mobile is a lot more than that. It's like being flexible and have control over the flexibility that you have. And I'm going to put some client testimonials on the screen, read through their journeys and how they transform their posture and how they're feeling now. And if you enjoyed this conversation and you're asking me, okay, what is next? Like, what can I do? Now you've given me all these explanations. I like the idea. I want to learn more. So I recently posted a full mobility breathing class on my YouTube. So I'm going to link it down below. Obviously, it's free. You can go ahead and do it. That's a really good start to understand what I'm talking about. And if you feel like you need more support, I'm open for one-to-one clients. And you can book a free consultation call with me for half an hour so we can discuss how I can support you. You may wonder what is the logistics and the structure of the programs I'm taking you through. So the way it starts is we start with an in-depth assessment, going through every single joint, assessing your breathing mechanics, building up your breathing mechanics through daily breathing practices, and then slowly, depending on where you are, if you're an athlete, the strategy might be different. If you are a person who is struggling with a lot of pain and discomfort and movement is difficult for you, then we might approach it a little bit differently. But then from there, we slowly build up by creating safety in the nervous system first, by improving the basics like breathing, like posture, like core. And then we build up to adding more weights and supporting you build unshakable strength for life. Thank you so much for listening. As promised, I will share the video that I told you, the full class on mobility and breathing down below. You can check it out. I also have 5 lifestyle guide ebook for you. You can download that down below that has instructions around nutrition, breathing, movement, and all that jazz. Thank you for being here and have a beautiful rest of your day.